Hi Libra and Libra rising. Here's your horoscope for October 2024. I'm astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, buckle up because this is a huge month. If you're a sun sign Libra or a rising sign in Libra, this reading is for you. It's based in Western astrology, sun sign reading using the whole house system. And again, this is a general overview because I do not have everybody's birthday, and everyone's birth chart and birthday is completely different. So, but this will still give you a large amount of accuracy. But this month is very, very important for you guys because there's going to be a solar eclipse right here in the first house of identity and self that's going to light up this entire area. And what that usually means when you have an eclipse in your sign is time to reinvent yourself. So this could be anything from change of appearance, how others view you, change to relationships, change in your motivation and drive. These are all the themes with a solar eclipse in the first house. Now, there are some rough aspects to it, and I will get into that in a minute or so, but I want to give you a little overview of what I'm seeing here. Last month, we had a lunar eclipse, which was in the sixth house of health and service. So things are starting to change in that area for you as well. So maybe you're letting go of some bad habits. Maybe you started an exercise program. Maybe someone that you've cared for is no longer in your life. Or maybe you had to let go of a pet. Whatever your situation is, this sixth house is a doorway that is closing or completing a cycle. That's what lunar eclipses represent. But a solar eclipse is a new opportunity. So over the course of the next year, you are totally reinventing your appearance and how others see you. So that's going to be the good news. Now, there are some rough alignments this month. I'm not going to lie to you or sugarcoat it because Venus is going to get entangled with some of these alignments, especially with Uranus here. Now, Venus starts off the month in Scorpio in your second house of income and value. So your thoughts are right now, as we begin the month, on financial matters. Now, there are some positive alignments here, so it looks pretty good financially because Venus is making a connection to Mars. It's making a connection to Saturn. So it looks like you have to work hard for what you want or put the effort in order to be rewarded. But again, this is your time of the year as the sun is making its way through Libra, and we also have Mercury in Libra. So this is a good time for socializing, interacting, being friendlier and being seen and heard and focusing on your appearance. And so it's basically beautifying your life in some way, something that Libra and Libra rising people like to do. All right. So, but it is a tricky month, especially the second half of the month. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let's dive in. So here's the new moon solar eclipse in Libra on the 2nd, and it's going to be at 10 degrees of Libra. So wherever this is in your actual birth chart, it'll light up that area as well. So here it is in the first house. And this eclipse is opening up doorways to a couple of different areas for many of you. So first off, let's look at the aspects to this new moon, and it's making one aspect to Mars right up here in Cancer. So that's 15 degrees. This will be at 10 degrees. And so it's making a square to the career sector. So maybe you're at a crossroads. Maybe a new opportunity is coming your way to change your residence or to change your job or to change your title in some way. And this is all going to take place over the next 3 to 6 months. That's the strongest energy coming in from an eclipse. And then it could still be lingering after the 6-month mark into the following year. Okay, so that's one aspect, and that's the strongest one. Then we have another alignment or aspect to Saturn in Pisces, 14 degrees. This will be 10 degrees. So we have an inconjunct. What that means is, are you realistic about your expectations about what you want with regards to your job or your health or your pet or changing your health routine in some way? And so this is going to, challenge you. It's going to say to you, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want to change? Do we need to force the change upon you, or are you going to go willingly to change something in your life, whether it's your health, whether it's your responsibilities, your daily routine, whatever it is? This Saturn here is going to challenge you a little bit. Now, there's good news here, again, that Venus, your ruler, is making a favorable alignment to Mars, and it's making a favorable alignment to Saturn. This is a grand trine, as you can see here, from the triangle in the middle there. And so this is suggesting if you put a little effort in, things should start rolling in your direction. That's what it signifies, okay? So even though we have a tough alignment here to Mars and a confusing alignment here to Saturn, it says if you put the effort in, we'll reward you in some way. So let's keep that in mind with this eclipse, but it's absolutely a doorway for some sort of change. Like I said, physical, how others see you, how you see yourself, and relationship oriented. Now, this is going to be a big alignment for communication because Mercury is also in Libra at this time, and it's conjunct the new moon. And so what it's suggesting is lots of talking, lots of self-expression, lots of communication at this time. So if you're in the communication field, or if you just feel a lot more like expressing yourself, this will be a fantastic time to do so, either in writing or on video or just in person with other people. So this is really opening up a major doorway of change for many of you, okay? Now, Jupiter will go retrograde in Gemini on the 9th right there. First time that Jupiter is going retrograde in Gemini since it entered Gemini in May. And not a big deal. Jupiter is in the 9th house. It's still kind of happy-go-lucky. But when a planet goes retrograde, which means going within, that's all it means. It slows us down, and then the energy gets inverted. And so in Gemini here, it's a sense of direction. I'm not sure where I'm going. What do I believe in anymore? That's the kind of energy that Jupiter is slowly going to be administrating as it goes in backward motion. Not a big deal because we're coming into the next 6 months of really confusing and challenging energy, and not just for Libra rising or Libras in general. It's for everybody. If you haven't done so, check out my video, Future of 2025, and I show you some of the alignments that are coming in that are going to change this world, whether it's socially, politically, physically, the whole 9 yards. And so this is going to be, everyone's going to be questioning what the hell is going on, you see. And so for you guys personally, it has a lot to do with your belief system, direction, and you might find yourself traveling more to places you've been before, taking short trips or revisiting some of your belief systems from the past. So keep that in mind. That'll be retrograde all the way until February of 2025. Now, good news, Pluto goes direct in Capricorn on the 11th, right there. It's in stationary position. And so Pluto is going to definitely be helpful when it's in forward motion. I think a lot of this is going to have to do with a sense of purpose and a sense of direction. And again, it's in the 4th house of home, feeling, and foundation. So many of you may be questioning, where you live, where you want to live. Is there a transformation going on with a property? Is there some family dynamics that need to be taken care of or resolved in some manner? And these are all going to be on the table beginning on the 11th. And the reason is not just because Pluto is moving direct. Pluto is going to get entangled with the Sun and Mercury a few days after this, and Venus is going to get entangled with Uranus, which I'm going to show you in a second. So we've got this really tricky energy, and if that's not enough, Mars is sitting up here in Cancer, getting closer and closer to the 29-degree mark, which means an opposition, which means tension and irritability and frustration. So you can see here, I'm starting to paint a picture here of how the second half of this month, the energy is just getting real loopy and really weird. So just prepare yourself psychologically, prepare yourself physically, whatever you have to do. That's the reason I do these videos, is to show you the kind of energy that we have coming in so you could better prepare yourself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So it all starts on the 11th because on the 13th, Mars will square Pluto. There's 29 degrees. There's Pluto at 29 degrees. So what this is suggesting is an important conversation that you're going to have with somebody regarding either their emotions, their feelings. Maybe you're counseling someone. If it has nothing to do with that, maybe it has something to do with your living situation, or dealing with a governmental agency, or maybe you have something going on legally that you need to take care of. Maybe there's a family dynamics that's at play because the 4th house represents family. And we're seeing a very tricky time. It might have to do with financial matters because Venus is in Scorpio, and in the following day, it exactly opposes right there Uranus. Unpredictable Uranus. Surprising Uranus. There it is, 26 degrees, 26 degrees. And so now what we're witnessing is 2 very rough alignments here. We got this one going on, then we got the Sun squaring Mars at 21 degrees. So we're seeing either financial issues, something about a power struggle, or something to do with your job. This seems to be on the table big time. Now, the other thing that it can be, which I've mentioned this, if you've been following me for a while, I talked about October. There's a big change in the air, and this has a lot to do with cosmic energy coming in and these alignments of the outer planets that are forming. And there could be economic changes at this time. I'm doing this video in the middle of September, so by the time this comes out, in October, by the time we get to the 14th, let's see what I'm talking about. It could be, something major and devastating in the news, or with earth changes, or governmental agencies, or something along those lines that seems to be very significant here, which will not directly affect us, but inadvertently affect us, like, a market crash or a big announcement about something. And that's the kind of energy I'm seeing here. So we have to, it might be something outside of our control, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Now, the full moon in Aries doesn't help much either. On the 17th, here it is. It's going to be at 24 degrees of Aries in your 7th house of relationships, opposing the sun right here. Now, this one is very challenging because not only does it deal with relationships and other people and other people's ego, and Aries represents the self, but because it's opposing the sun, there's tension built in. But when we look a little closer, the sun is also squaring Mars, 22, 24. Mars is squaring the moon at 24. The moon is also squaring Pluto and squaring everything else. So what we have here is a giant T-square. Do you see what I'm saying here, friends? That this pressure, this energy that's coming in from the planets is rough. And so this is going to put a lot of pressure on us psychologically, emotionally, physically, however you want to describe it. And we're all going to be feeling it. So either some event is going to take place that we're going to really be paying attention to, or in your personal life, people just start losing their marbles, and you're going to have to deal with the aftermath. Okay, so please don't be one of those people that loses their marbles, because the pressure is heavy and it's strong here. Okay, so at least you have a heads up of the kind of energy we have coming in here. So this is why it's a tricky month. All right, so on the 18th, Venus enters Sagittarius. Now this will absolutely help a little bit more. Venus in Sagittarius, your ruler, is a little bit more optimistic and, could smile and laugh at things as everything is changing. And so as this Venus makes its way through your 3rd house of communication, you find yourself rethinking everything and trying to resolve matters and come to some sort of understanding or realization of what's going on. Maybe you're having to have important conversations with a partner or a family member about, things that are changing in the world. And so this is going to be very important for you guys over the next 5 weeks or so. So become the counselors that you are. Now, we also have another rough alignment here on the 21st. So first, the sun got into a square with Mars. Now the sun is going to be squaring Pluto. So again, very rough alignment because we still have this T-square in the mix. You see, sun squaring Pluto is rough enough. And then we have Mars on the other end, pulling and pulling. So we have this giant T-square that once again is being activated around this time frame. So there's no easy way out of this, friends. It's just tension. It's pressure forcing us to change as individuals. And so be careful around other people and situations because it could be a very volatile time, what you're doing. Now, late in the 22nd into the 23rd, the sun enters Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth. It's a sign of transformation, entering the 2nd house of income and values. So now your mind absolutely shifts to something that's going on with the financial picture. Could be banks that are closing and you're like, oh my God, am I going to be able to get my money out of the bank? Or it could be opportunities coming your way for financial improvement. Okay, so your mind will absolutely, most of the second half of this month and now into the latter part of the month, be thinking about financial matters and how these transformations are going to affect you. And last but not least, the month leaves us with another square between your ruler Venus and Saturn, this time on the 28th. Here's Venus in the 3rd house in Sagittarius, squaring Saturn in the 12th house of Pisces. So this is a very uncomfortable conversation that you might have to have with someone else regarding a job, a health matter, a situation that is very restrictive or is very uncomfortable at this time. So again, this is a big month for change for many of you. As you can see, I've pointed out the areas that it seems to be affecting you. And so do the best you can. That's all I could say. We are going into very rough waters in the next 6 months. And this is for everybody, not just Libra Sun, Libra Rising. This is for everyone. Okay, so please follow me on YouTube with some of the other videos that I point out what's going on. Anyway, do the best you can, Libra. If you need some moral support, join my free community, and I think you might get a lot of value out of it and maybe help you in some way. Okay? So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.